All right, everybody, how y'all doing? And welcome back to Three and Out with the Dolphins. Your host Ron here, as I go over the highlights and stats of Sunday's matchup against the Ravens. What a disaster! What a total disaster that the Ravens put the Dolphins in. The Dolphins really didn't come to play. See, this is one reason why I say you bring your A game and you bring your F game. Your A game is your astonishing game. When your game is on point, you know what you got to do. Everybody's on the same page level on offense and defense. It's on and popping. Offense struggled, and defense was just taking an ass whipping due to massive injuries. Yes. And what I mean by injuries, we might be losing this great, wonderful player for next year as well because Chubb tore his ACL in the game yesterday around about a little bit in the mid of first quarter of the game. Yeah, in the first quarter of the game, about mid of it going towards the second quarter, ACL done, torn, towards the end of the year. And that was the end of our front four attack. Once Chubb went out with that torn ACL and Howard went out with an ankle injury, again, pathetic injuries on turf when the players did not get touched. A lot of quarterbacks went down with ACL injuries as well as defense. But on this scenario here, Tubbs went out. No more pass rush. Everything was on Siler and the rest of the other team members, and they was getting padded to. When Harbaugh saw everybody wish Chubbs, and I'm wishing him a speedy recovery for all next year because we're going to be losing him for next year. I hope that everything is well done perfectly by his medical team, and they're not going to rush him back too fast. So, Chubb, take your time, heal your torn ACL, and come back strong for 2024 when the season starts. But when Harbaugh saw that their main key player went down to an injury, Harbaugh called the offensive coordinator and said, hey, let's start running the ball. And Edwards and Hills was taking off nonstop. And it was just damn shameful that the Ravens slapped the Miami Dolphins in the mouth repeatedly, traumatically, and destructively. I mean, slapped them badly in the mouth as they whipped them 56-19. Now, in week 3, this is the same thing we did when we played the Broncos, as Miami handed the Broncos a 70-20 loss. Slapped them stupidly in the mouth. So, Baltimore Ravens say, y'all in our backyard, let's do the same thing. And they slapped them badly in the mouth. Badly. And the funny thing about it, going into the end of the game, when we play the Bills in our backyard at 8:20 on Sunday. Yes, 8:20 on Sunday, the 7th. We don't have Tua, because Tua suffered a neck shoulder injury as he slid, and the Baltimore Raven linebacker or defensive end slid right in the back of him and twinched his throwing arm a little bit. You know, he is questionable for Sunday's game, but we don't have our main quarterback. As Waddle might be making his debut back off his ankle injury, we got Hill, Waddle. Without them two, and without Tua, we got White as the backup that possible starting. I don't know they're going to be clicking on all cylinders. Now, this is the game we had to beat against Baltimore Ravens to control home field advantage. That means everything coming to our backyard. In the hot, it's not cold. We're gonna be cold for a couple of weeks in Miami, Florida, but Dolphins couldn't handle their business as they gave home field advantage to the Ravens. So everything coming through the Ravens' backyard in the playoffs. Alrighty, let's go over the scores of how bad them boys spanked us. It was dumb, it was stupid, and it was terrifying. First quarter, Miami scored 10. Miami was in cruise control. They kicked the field goal, scored the touchdown, then Baltimore came back and they scored, which made it 10-7 in the first quarter. Miami 10, Baltimore 7. Now in the second quarter, this is where things went left, went deep south, and never been seen again. Miami 3, Baltimore 21. In the third quarter, them boys shut us down. We could not put up not 1 point, no field goal, no touchdown, nothing. As Baltimore kept the Dolphins scoreless in the third quarter, 0, Baltimore 7. And in the fourth quarter, things just went a little bit out of hand. As Miami scored 6, 2 field goals. That's all we could muscle. And Baltimore just went ahead and easily put up 21 points, giving them a total of 56-19 as they slapped the whole entire team, their family members, and everybody else all in the mouth. And then was getting greased to the locker room, grabbed the dildo, and shoved up their boot cheeks. Alrighty. That's how bad it is. Alright, let's go over to the stats. Tua Tagovailoa had 23 of 38 for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Terrible. Now on the Miami rushing, our chain was doing this thing as he had 14 carries for 107 yards. Jeff Wilson joined in. He did a little bit. 3 carries for 21 yards. Tua had 2 carries for 14 yards. Chris Brooks had 4 carries for 12 yards. Mike White. And that's who might be playing Sunday against them Buffalo Bills if Tua don't come out his questionable with his shoulder injury. White had 1 carry for 0 yards, and Tyreek had 1 carry for 0 yards, giving the team a total of 25 carries for 154 yards, and they did not record a touchdown. Damn shame. On Baltimore passing in, this was one thing I didn't understand that was totally hilarious. Lamar Jackson had 18 for 21 for 321 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interception. Now, he was sacked 1 time for 9 yards. On the Dolphins end, defensive sack 2 or 3 times for a 16-yard loss. When you get a quarterback that scores 5 touchdowns easily, that means that the defensive secondary was not in sync. Yes. And one play went to Flowers, the same play that they used with Tyreek Hill, and easily touchdown on the back here as the wide receiver come out on the fake and he goes up. He's doing up and out, wide open. Same thing with Flowers. He did it up and out, wide open. Number 33 didn't catch him in time, and the safety was late getting over. Yes. Broke down in coverage. It was like that all day, every day. As the offensive coordinator took advantage of that, Lamar Jackson saw it. He said, hey, they got a weak secondary. After Howard went out the game. Done. So they brought in their raggedy cornerbacks. They cannot cover two diddly squat. They can't cover diddly squat. If you're leaving wide receivers wide open, and it's sad, Justin Hill scored the touchdown. Isaiah Likely scored the touchdown. Flowers scored the touchdown. I mean, it was just scoring touchdowns galore. And then Tyler Huntley came in the game. He completed 1 for 1 for 19 yards. And that's a touchdown. So the Ravens and Packers, they had 6 touchdowns in the air all day, every day. And that cannot be stopped. On the rushing game, break down on defense when Chubbs went out with that torn ACL. And just like I said, I wish him a speedy recovery. We might not have him next year in 2024 because as a torn ACL, that takes all year to heal. But he got a good medical team, and I hope the medical team know what they're doing. Don't rush him back too soon. Just make sure that he's able to put pressure on that there and give us that extra juice to get at the quarterback. When he went out, this is when Baltimore run the game came alive. Gus Edwards had 16 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. Justice Hill had 3 carries for 48 yards. Lamar Jackson, LJ do his thing, 6 carries for 35 yards. Melvin Gordon, 6 carries for 10 yards. And Tyler Huntley came in to relieve Lamar Jackson, and he had 1 carry for -1 yard, giving the team Baltimore Ravens rushing attack 32 carries for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dolphins had 150, no touchdowns. So the Ravens defensive front 4 was stronger than the Dolphins front four. On to receiving. And this is where things get interesting at. Miami receiving. Tyreek Hill has 6 receptions. That's 6 receptions for 76 yards. No touchdown. Durham Smythe had 3 receptions for 54 yards. No touchdown. Devon Achane had 4 receptions for 30 yards, a touchdown. Cedric Wilson, 2 receptions for 27 yards, 1 touchdown. Alec Ingle had 1 reception for 18 yards. Jeff Wilson, 3 receptions for 13 yards. Braxton Barrows, 2 receptions for 10 yards. Julian Hill, 1 reception for 9 yards. Ruby's Chosen, 0 for 0. Rivercraft, Carcab, 0 for 0. And Chase Claypool, 0 for 0. So when it comes down to Tua spreading that ball around, he can spread it. I mean, he hit about almost damn near 12 different receivers. He can move that ball around, but if he can't play Sunday against Buffalo, can Wilson do the same thing? That's the question. Because now you got to change the pace. We might be getting Waddle back, and we got Hill. Can he hit Waddle and Hill in stride, on connection, on time, perfectly? Can we get the running game going? Because Monstra is out with the ankle injury, so everything is on Achane and Brooks. Can them boys get it going? And Wilson. So can all 3 of those running backs get it going for Sunday's matchup against the Bills? Now, on receiving side of Baltimore, it was just straight air control. Them boys aired it out the ways that we cannot understand it. Zay Flowers, the rookie wide receiver, did the same play that he scored his touchdown on that we run with Hill. So Baltimore Ravens took one of the Dolphins playbooks, said, hey, if y'all can score off this play, we're going to try a speedy receiver, the same thing. And yes, he scored due to a massive breakdown into the Dolphins coverage. Them boys was not in sync. As Zay Flowers had 3 receptions for 106 yards and 1 touchdown. Justice Hill, running back coming out the backfield, 5 receptions for 64 yards, 1 touchdown. Rashad Bateman, 4 receptions for 54 yards, no touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 2 receptions for 42 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. I mean, it just gets nastier from there. Odell Beckham Jr., Big Daddy Beckham. He didn't do too much, but when Lamar Jackson needs him, he comes through. He had 1 reception for 33 yards. Charlie Kolar, 1 reception for 19 yards, 1 touchdown. Kolar, 1 touchdown on a 19-yard reception. Damn shame. Nelson Aguilar, 2 receptions for 18 yards. And Patrick Ricard, 1 reception for 4 yards and a touchdown. The offensive coordinators of Baltimore saw the weak secondary that the Dolphins was playing, and they took control. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 TDs by the Baltimore receivers. Lamar Jackson and Huntley was finding these receivers through a horrible secondary that the Dolphins came with. Now, even though we lost Chubbs, but the Dolphins wasn't putting no pressure on defense. There was not. The front four was not getting it done. If you sack Lamar Thomas for a 1-time for a 9-yard loss and that's all you can muscle, that's a damn shame. That is a total shame. And you cannot win any footballs with no pressure on the opposing team quarterback. That's embarrassing. That is very, very embarrassing. Now, our game leaders. Tua Tagovailoa had 22 of 38 for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Lamar Jackson had 18 for 21 for 321 yards and 5 touchdowns. Yes, he had a big career day, just ripping apart that weak coverage the Dolphins brought Sunday in that defeat, 56-19, that they put up. If y'all bring this same raggedy defense to Sunday's matchup against the Bills, y'all might just hang it up, because that's embarrassing. On the rushing, Devon Achane did his thing. Now, I thought Achane was going to carry the ball for like 8 times for 45 yards. But with the speed he had, He had carried the ball 14 times for 107. So yes, we can run on it. We can run on any strong defense. That's a given must. Our offensive players, we still have some key injuries on offensive play on the offensive line for the Dolphins, but we getting one guy back. Hopefully that he could come back during Buffalo. All depends if we get cleared to play Sunday. G. Everest had 16 carries for 68 yards and a touchdown. On the receiving end, Tyreek Hill had 6 receptions for 76 yards, and Z. Flowers had 3 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. Team stats: Dolphins had 375 total yards to Baltimore 491 yards total yards. That was 9 yards away from 500 yards in total offense. 500. That means that aerial attack was a beast. And the ground game was on point too, but that aerial attack was a beast. Turnovers, Dolphins had 3. Baltimore had 1. While Miami had 20 first downs to Baltimore 24 first downs. Yes, as I said, Baltimore was in cruise control. Time of possession, everything went to Baltimore's favor. Time of possession was 30 minutes and 23 seconds to the Dolphins, 29 minutes and 37 seconds. So yes, everything was in the Baltimore Ravens' favor. But our last game, as you see right there, is Buffalo in our backyard at 8:20 p.m. on Sunday. Can we beat Buffalo and lock up the division? Because Buffalo owned that win they gave us earlier in the week as they spanked us in their backyard. So can we turn the favor and spank Buffalo in our backyard in week 18? Sunday, January 7th at 8:20 p.m. Can we spank the Buffalo Bills in our backyard? It's not too cold down here. It's just going to be just right. It's going to be sweater weather if you was in Buffalo. So, can we do it? Can we come out that raggedy loss and do our thing? Because getting spanked 56-19, you might just say y'all boys got spanked 72-0. Yes, sir. I said it. Y'all boys got spanked. It's just like getting spanked 72-0. As when we had Brady playing for the Patriots, as they spanked us 63-0. We had a raggedy defense. Nobody, no name, no game, and it was all shame. This is what I saw Sunday against a team that I know that could play better, even though y'all got some massive injuries, torn ACLs, sprained ankles, etc., knee injuries. But y'all are a better team. The Miami Dolphins are a better team. So are they going to bring the better team Sunday against Buffalo, or are they going to go ahead and bring this garbage team that they brought Sunday in Baltimore Ravens Stadium? I don't want to see that. No fans in Miami wants to see that. We want to see a team of professionals, not a team of babies that's learning the ropes. I don't want to see pee-wee football. I want to see professional football. And that's what I want to see Sunday as we close out the season and get ready for the playoffs. Now, if we beat Buffalo, we can go ahead and have a off, but the wild card rolls, and we'll be after that wild card. So we can have a day off to rest, run over some plays, execute. But we messed up when we couldn't secure home field advantage. And that's one thing Michael Daniels and the team of professionals have to start understanding. When you go into another team backyard, y'all boys got to compete. When you're home as well as away, you boys got to compete. If you're not competing on games that you need to win, then what's the purpose of putting on y'all uniforms and going out? What is the purpose? Yes, Sunday's game against the Ravens was an embarrassment. Okay, y'all embarrassed Broncos in week 3, and the Baltimore Ravens gave you that embarrassment back. We cannot have that closing the season out. So the Miami Dolphins organization, get your act together as we close out the season. Hopefully, y'all can beat Buffalo because the Patriots couldn't do it. Buffalo found a way to get through their foolishness. It's the end of Bill Belichick era. Just like I said, there's just a lot of explanations going around. What team Bill Belichick will go to? Now, y'all keep in mind, Belichick is a winning coach. When he sits down and drafts his players, he knows what he's looking for in players. He don't get the top rated. He traded all his picks out, and he got about 15 to 20 picks in the 7th round, and he picking up players that other NFL players don't pick up because they too busy focusing in the top round. So yes, the Patriots era of Bill Belichick is coming to an end. Now, what team he will be at, we don't know because it's a lot of coaching jobs up for grabs when the season is over with. So, let's wish our Miami Dolphins the best as we face them Buffalo Bills Sunday. Hard Rock Stadium at 8:20. Let's do this. Let's go Miami Dolphins. Let's win this game and let's go into the playoff season. Because yes, we clinched the playoffs, but we don't want to be in that first round. We want to sit down and relax. Don't get too comfortable because I got to practice. Let's practice. Let's execute some new plays. And let's trust we move forward to the AFC Championship and maybe our way to the Super Bowl. Alrighty, to all the wonderful viewers out there who took the time to watch this, thank you. Subscribe to my channel. You won't be disappointed. I love y'all. Thank you. Wishing everybody worldwide a happy new year. And I'll see you when I see you. Peace. And I'm out.